Hello and welcome to Eat Sleep Code, the official Telerik podcast. I'm your host, Ed Charbeneau, and with me today is the one and only John Bristowe.
Yeah, definitely one and only for sure. Yeah,
Thank God. No,
yeah, no,
uh,
definitely not imitated or duplicated. Thank goodness for that. So, how's it going, everyone?
not bad. How are things down under?
They're good. We're heading into winter. Can't complain about the weather though. It's pretty balmy here still. So, these are the golden, as Bill Burr likes to say, these are the golden age. This is the golden day of or age of global warming. So, put your arm out the window, enjoy it while it lasts, and kidding, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
things are
it's
fine.
it's really weird. We've had like a long spring. Like it's still cold outside. It was like 40 degrees this morning, 66 this afternoon. I mean, it's not warming up yet. It's like getting close to pool season here. So we'll see.
There you
We'll see how hot it gets this summer. Not saying that global warming's not real by any means. I'm just saying like it's been very forgiving so far this year.
go.
Anyhow, we've got some good articles for the week. I think there's some interesting news coming about here.
Sure.
This one was shared around our Slack channels at work this morning. It was showing what Google is doing. Not necessarily that we agree or disagree with it, but it's interesting nonetheless. So, Google's plan for the future of work includes robots, privacy robots, and balloon walls. And I don't know if this is like one of those things they're planning now or it's like one of those in the future videos. But, these modern like workspaces seem now this one seems pretty legit here. Like they've done this at Microsoft for a while as well. So they have like the tree houses at Microsoft. So I've
Yep.
seen some pretty like cool outdoorsy things to try to attract some of the hipster workforce. These are pretty cool ideas. They start to lose me though with some of this stuff. When we get into here we go the inflatable cubicle wall. Like I'm not sure where this fits in the whole scheme of things. Like it's
This reminds me of sitting in business, and certain airplanes have this, where they have that wall that they put up. It's sort of like giving your middle finger to excuse me, to your neighbor. Basically, it just moves right up, and various aircraft have this. But yeah, it's basically like I don't want to talk to anyone. So this is definitely weird. I don't know why they insist on pillows, but I guess
yeah,
it's a temporary structure.
it's temporary. It doesn't look very sturdy. I mean, it's a balloon.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not sturdy. I guess
You know,
like
the
it looks.
Japanese figured this out. The Japanese figured this out centuries ago. They have those beautiful
Oh yeah,
blind,
I know what you're talking about.
you know, yeah, yeah.
Like
So I
the
don't know why we're
paper.
we're insisting. Yeah, yeah. I don't know
What
why
those
we're
things are
insisting on
called?
building these new things, but yeah,
Yeah, this seems over-engineered and uh, too fragile. Like I could see somebody dropping like their cup of pens or something and puncturing this thing, but
sure.
it looks like you could blow
I,
it
I
up
have.
3 times and it's done.
You know
Like
what the most offensive thing to me is that desk. That no one's desk looks like that. Perfect setup. No
yeah,
cups.
clean.
No random pieces of paper.
Well, I love too that she's got a giant monitor that is completely turned off and a
Yes.
laptop that she's coding from, and the wall takes in this context maybe 30 seconds to blow up, but you can see it's at fast forward by about 10x. So,
Yeah.
you could start blowing up your partition in at breakfast time and maybe by dinner you'll have your privacy that you wanted.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not sure these people really appreciate it either. I mean, the HVAC system is right there, along with the electrical circuitry for the entire building by the looks of it. So um,
this
I don't know how
where's
useful
her
this is.
where's her red stapler is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So, anyways, good on
And
Google. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Aztec in the chat room's got the name of those
Yeah.
screens. I'm not going
Yeah.
to
There
try
you
to
go.
pronounce
Sorry.
that, by the
Sorry.
way.
I look. I don't look this stuff up. I'm sorry. I apologize. But. Uh. Yeah. Good on Google to kind of promote this stuff. But I don't know. I've got that same monitor. That's an LG monitor. I've got that monitor right there, and the key
Here's the
light from
Noah's Ark of
Elgato.
screens.
Yep. I've got a lot of that stuff sitting on my desk right now. I'm looking at it right now. Um.
They They had to have one like vertical, like one
Yeah,
horizontal,
that's a
and then
mess. Why wouldn't you push them together? Ugh. Look at the
yeah.
photos, the rotating photos on the iPad there. Beautiful. Well,
Oh
I'm a
my
big
gosh.
believer in the one cable. I love the fact you got the Thunderbolt or USB-C cable. That's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, the layout of this setup is not ideal. So natural light,
It's
perfect. Total fan
yeah.
of natural light. Good, good. Couldn't be better.
It's funny because in older architecture they really used to take advantage of this, and
Sure.
we kind of got away from it, and now it's
Yeah.
coming back into style. And then this, I have no idea what is going
These, I
on
guess, are
with it.
recording rooms or private rooms, I guess. That's okay. I mean, sometimes you really want a lot of quiet time, and headphones can only cut it so far, and people can
Yeah,
interrupt you. That's the other thing. Like
the
Richard
aesthetics here I
Campbell,
don't
very
get though.
famous.
It's like
Yeah, I know. I know.
it's
Richard
like
Campbell very famously, sorry, I was just going to get my quote out. Richard Campbell said a very pertinent thing to me. He said he measures his productivity in interruptions per hour, which I think is apt.
it's quite
You
ironic
don't really
considering I
value
kept
that.
interrupting you.
Sorry. I do like the fact that they've got translucent glass in the ceiling to let in as much natural light as possible. That's good.
Yeah, but it's like it has this like warehousey like look, like they're on a shipping
Sure.
dock somewhere.
Yeah.
Just very odd
I don't
for a
know what
tech
else you can
company.
do. I mean, it's. I think what they're getting away from is the open concept, which was prevalent in the offices of the late 2000s, I guess
Hmm.
before that. But this idea that we're not going to have any offices, and then they realize that it's just this cacophony of it's like a beach of seagulls basically, and you can't get any work done because, and this is why headphones became so popular. These wireless
Indeed.
noise canceling headphones.
Yeah, that's very true. It turned out to
Yeah.
be a big distraction, and I think it caused like more water cooler talk that
Yeah,
wasn't
and
happening
I'm
at the
also
water
offended
cooler.
that tech companies would take this on.
Hmm.
They know how introverted we are as developers. Come on, what are you doing? Trying to like introduce us like being actual human beings?
I think part of the problem too with these open office plants was like people have a need to like stop and talk to somebody. They feel like it's
Sure.
like rude if you pass by someone and don't like say hi and like you know ask them how the weather was or whatever. Small talk. And these open office concepts were just a nonstop feeding frenzy of I gotta stop and just say hi to this person. And then six
Yeah.
hours later, you finally get to your desk and you're like, oh, it's quitting time. Look at that.
Yeah, I work from home right now, just like everyone does, but I'll notice that I'll walk around to think about my problem, and it's tough when you're getting interrupted all the time because you're taking time away. Like sometimes it helps just get away from the desk. Like you'll find that you'll come to a realization or a solution if you're in like the shower or you're mowing the lawn or if you're doing something kind of taking a passive activity like walking
Hmm.
around, you'll stumble upon the answer that way.
Yeah, definitely. I think you added this one, John, the global chip
Yeah.
shortage, seeing real
Yeah,
world
it's a CNBC
consequences.
article, so apologies for that. Not, I'm not a big fan of CNBC, but whatever. I mean, most of these news sites I don't read anyway. But this one I thought was kind of interesting. It's not a major deal right now, but it is becoming a problem. In classic
Hmm.
media story, it's like, oh, it's a huge crisis on our hands, and it's like, yes and no. So the biggest well, if you read this article, it basically talks about how given given the fact that for a variety of reasons we're facing this kind of chip shortage at the moment. I think it has to do with the fact that a lot of automakers pulled back their orders in terms of manufacturing when
Hmm.
COVID first hit, and as a result, chip manufacturers slowed down their production immensely, and then they're trying to ramp it back up right now. So there's this kind of delay. There's a well-known effect term. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a classic economics theory thing. The long and short of it is this is kind of it's kind of a meme right now where people are talking about this stuff. But
Yeah.
I think the fact that you've got all these like you know digital currency miners going crazy over GPUs and such isn't helping matters. But that's in terms of price. But I think for the large chart, last time I checked the beach, which is here, I got a lot of silicon lying around, so I think we'll be okay for the time being. So
Yeah. So this is really hitting close to home for us. So we live in, like, people know, like, Detroit kind of is the center of what used to be like the automakers, but
Sure.
Kentucky has actually got a lot of that work right now. So we've
Yeah.
got Ford, Toyota, and Chevy here, and it is like getting to the point where they are renting out like stadium lots and random like um, what do you call them, auto dealership lots, wherever they can stash a vehicle that is finished and waiting for the computer to arrive. They've
Oh,
bought up
interesting.
storage space, so they're filling
They should,
lots all over, so they can just like pull them
they
back
should ship
off
them
and
off to that
install the
airfield in
computers.
Nevada where they store their planes. Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So you actually like see them, like if you know where to look, you can see them like
Yeah.
in lots by the road, and it's like all these brand new trucks and stuff are just sitting there, and you're like, what's going on?
Hmm.
There's never been a lot full of trucks here before. They're actually waiting for computer parts to fill those
Interesting.
orders and ship them
Oh, well,
out.
there you go.
Yeah. So it's causing some problems downstream for sure.
Hmm. Well, something to keep an eye on.
Yeah. I thought this was an interesting article. You like the title already, I see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I'm a
I
creep,
tr-
and I'm doing creepy things.
is it creepy to worry about your kids though?
Yeah,
Is it?
but come on. It's like, it's that again. It's like I just pull out every comedian reference. Bill Burr has a great joke about this where he talks about this ad for Duracell battery, and there's in the commercial she pulls out this device and it goes do 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 and like locates her kid Kevin who's lost in a park. And Bill Burr's point is like, I don't care about the batteries. What the hell is going on in Kevin? Like, how did Kevin know to like pop out of the woods? Like, he didn't have an antenna coming out of his head, you know?
Yeah. So somebody took one of the new Apple AirTags and attached it to their child to see if it
Perfect.
would track their kid, and they noticed it had gone silent as it got on the school bus and
Sure,
like
kids know what they're
reappeared.
doing. Yeah, just
Well,
he just put it in a Tupperware container full of tinfoil.
Apple said that they, during the bus ride, there probably weren't any networks with iPhones that were picking it up and
No.
transmitting it back. But once the kid got to school and it found Wi-Fi again in other phones, it started pick back up again. But it
Yeah.
got into this whole article about what the privacy issues are around these new tags, and there was some pretty neat stuff in here. So one of the things that the AirTag does that I didn't know about was if you don't pair with it on the owner's phone after a certain period of time, it will just start beeping. So you can't like walk up behind some stranger that you want to track and like tag them somehow, like put it under the seat of their car or something, and just like track them everywhere without them knowing, because eventually this
This is
thing's
like
gonna
this is
emit a
like
noise.
this is like Star Trek 4, where Spock puts, or is it Star Trek 4 or Star Trek 5? I can't remember where Spock puts that homing beacon on Captain Kirk and is able to detect his presence like light years away. You know? So,
Yeah, so they intentionally did this so if the phone that owns that AirTag isn't in close proximity after a while, it's just gonna let somebody know that it's there.
right.
So you can't kind of like sneak these things where they don't belong.
Sure.
I thought that was kind
That's
of smart.
actually really insightful on Apple's part, I think.
Hmm.
It's annoying, but I think it's for a good reason, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean I could see creepers trying to be creepers with this, and
Yeah, yeah.
people do some really random and weird
Yeah, like
things.
parents tracking their children.
Yeah, I could think of a scenarios a
Can't you
whole
just
lot
raise
worse,
your
but
kids right and just teach them right from wrong rather than putting devices on them? It's like these parents who put like leashes on
yes, I
their
agree.
kids when they're kids. Like, just let them be kids. Like, what, you can't be bothered to watch your kid? Like, sorry, I'm going off on a
Yeah.
rant here, but
I know
anyway.
parents that would take like the medicine from the medicine cabinet and like pack it like a nuclear football with like 10 padlocks and put it on the highest shelf in the house. And
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
step one though is teach the kids not to eat the medicine. Like
Sure,
that's
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 part of it, but
probably a good place to begin, and then put it up where they can't get to it. But
I
are you
yeah.
having the conversation with them that they shouldn't eat it first? Like That's, I
Putting
think, a
AirTags on your
step
kids though
people
is a
skip.
bit. Putting AirTags on your kids though is a bit weird, I think. Although, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
I have four, and there's one that raised enough problems that this would have been an
Okay,
actual
sorry.
remedy for the problem. But
All right, all
yeah,
right.
let's
You know,
just say
parents are looking
we
at this like, this is a really good idea. Yeah, I lose my keys all the time. Meanwhile, putting it on their kid's backpack.
yeah. Like this is one of the benefits of Nest is like having security cameras around your house.
Sure.
You could see
Yeah,
who's entering and
every kid is like, you got me another AirTag for Christmas? Why? Why are you giving me all these AirTags?
so like when I was a kid, like if you snuck somebody in the house, nobody'd know. Like
Yeah.
unless that friend left something behind, your parents would never know you had people in the house. Now it's like Nest cameras like all over the place. Nobody's sneaking in and
Yeah.
out of this place at all. Like I know,
George
yeah.
Orwell would be spinning right now, I guess, but whatever.
So I remember when I was a kid, like this is gonna be like an old man story, um, and then Aztec's like yeah, this is like a Black Mirror story right here. Um,
Yeah.
so my friend's dad was a cop, and he's like, he tells my friend, he's like, no, I don't want any friends in the house while I'm gone. And I happened to be there when he said it because I was in the house while he was gone. Um, so he come home, he was mad. He like tossed us out. He's like, no friends in the house while I'm gone. The house is empty, no adults. Need to be
Yeah.
not indoors. So
Yeah.
the next day, like we get off the school bus, and my friend was like, "Remember when my dad said no friends in the house while he's not home?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, why don't we just like take the TV and the Nintendo outside? Because semantic games right there. Like we're not
Hmm.
in the house, so we're out on the deck, like on the back deck, and we've got like an extension cord run through the living room, and TV's out in the back. We're sitting on the patio furniture playing Nintendo, and he walks up and he's like, "What did I say about no friends in the house?" He's like, "Dad, we're
We're
not
not
in the
in the
house."
house. Yeah, yeah. I've said
And we
this
got
before, I'll
thrown
say
out
it again.
again.
I know, I said this before, I'll say it again. Children are the best testers. They are. They'll do
They
the
are.
weirdest things, but they'll follow the rules. So,
Hey, we didn't break the rules.
nope.
We just we you know
You
he
found the
should
edge
have.
case.
Yeah, he should have been proud. I mean, he was a
Yeah,
police officer, so he should have thought, these are future
sure.
lawyers. Maybe we could have
Yeah,
been
yeah, for
lawyers. Who
sure.
knows?
Yeah, I would respect that answer, honestly. I would be I'd be a little upset, but I would laugh and respect that. So there you go.
So back to the news. Team
Yep.
City videos are now Team City Cloud launch event
Yeah,
now
so
online.
JetBrains announced Team City Cloud last week. So this is their online offering of Team City. Team City is a collaboration platform for developers. It offers, well, it's mostly a build server, but it has collaboration features. There are other things that they're working on as well, but Team City Cloud is their SaaS offering of Team City, and so they
Hmm.
published all the videos of their event from last week. So in
Very
case you
cool.
want to catch up, there it is.
Start building some Team City Cloud today.
Yeah,
I put this one on the roster for you, John. I know how you like these space stories. I do too. Um,
sure,
I gotta
sure.
get this stupid banner off though. This banner needs to go.
Yeah, here we
Uh,
go.
Dev
Inspect and
tools,
delete
delete.
element. Perfect. Yep.
There we go.
Yep. We all do the same.
Oh,
You
is
could
it
probably
really gonna
open this.
throw?
Oh, yeah. You could probably open this up in
Oh,
anonymous
boo.
mode. Maybe if you open this up in anonymous mode, that might work. Just try
Let's
it.
try
See if
that
this
one.
works.
I read this from my phone
Incognito.
just
Sorry.
fine. Oh well, poo.
Oh
Like
well.
this.
There's probably
The
a. Oh,
headline's
here.
enough.
Let's do this. Wait. Let's go back to the other browser. Let's try this. See if there's a blur element. Sorry, if there's
A
a
blur.
blur applied to the
Let me
root
see.
element of that. Yeah, there should be a. There might be a CSS blur.
These
This
web
is cool.
developers, I tell you.
I know, I know. Just go to the computed element, the computed tab for that. Let's see if there's a blur. No. Okay. So there must
Yeah,
be something
let's
applied,
see.
or maybe you're on the wrong element. It might be the container element
Sometimes they'll
above.
actually like create a. Yeah, this is they'll create a like
I
an
bet you it's in
image
the
on the fly.
content. Maybe it's in that article body content thing. There must be a blur
It
being
should
applied
be in here
somewhere.
if it's gonna be that. Usually they don't do that anymore. They actually
Oh,
like
okay. What do they
generate
do?
like
They put an image over top?
Yeah, they just generate an image and they send you to a completely
Okay.
different like URL.
That would be really
So
heavy though, wouldn't it?
I don't know. I've tried to hack at some of these newer
Okay.
ones, and
Well,
they don't
whatever.
work.
They're finding mushrooms on Mars. They're really not mushrooms. We get it.
Have you read this already?
They're water molecules, right?
Have you read it already?
No, I haven't.
Because I read it. It was pretty interesting. So they're finding these white orbs on the surface,
Yes.
and
Hmm.
they are in cracks of like little fissures and stuff. And they were thinking this could
Methane?
be a fungus. So they're not
Oh,
just like static, like round orbs that sit there. So
yeah.
they start small. They actually grow over time, and then after
Yeah.
about 4 days, they break down, and they
Sounds
have
like
like an
sounds
outer
like a gas.
shell, and
Yeah.
the shell deteriorates and falls apart, and then they vanish. So they
Sounds
said
like a
this is
gas.
a gas.
Yeah, like methane or carbon, some
So
carbon
kind
derivative
of like
or
a like an ice bubble or something.
yeah. Yeah, sorry, not a carbon derivative because that would imply life, but you know, probably
Let's
something,
see.
some natural process, geological process, not life.
So this
Mushrooms on
one.
Mars. Oh, there
So
you go.
now this one is like, nope, we debunked it already. I
Yeah,
thought it was shoddy and unscientific, says the
yeah,
author of this
yeah, yeah.
article. It was pretty interesting the breakdown that they
They have
gave.
truffles.
What did it say?
Truffles. Yeah, they're truffles.
Oh,
Perfect.
jeez. Uh,
Yeah. No, it's some gas being emitted from some process, I would imagine. So a
yeah,
natural geological process. I don't think it's carbon based or anything else based. So, but that's my guess. That's my
it was an
uninformed
interesting read.
YouTube and Wikipedia research basis. So,
It was an interesting read. Too bad
yeah,
it's blurred out and nobody can see it anymore.
that's okay. My eyes do the same thing when I read articles I don't care about. My eyes go cross-eyed. So,
This one, like, this was a no-brainer for me. Okay.
okay.
So, State Attorney General tells Facebook to scrap Instagram for Kids plan.
Yeah,
I,
bad
this
idea.
is like the Uber for kids. Have you seen that
Yeah.
one? That was an idea.
No, but I get
Some,
it. Like kids aren't
jeez.
old enough. They're not mature enough to understand all this stuff. I've seen how vicious kids can be because I have two young boys, and I've seen kind of evidence of this. Kids are vicious. All you need, like, don't you remember your childhood full of bullying to understand that now, how, inspired keyboard warriors are, right?
Yeah.
Now you're going to give it to kids? No, this isn't a good
Well,
idea.
we had the luxury of nobody recording us when we were kids, so there's that.
Yeah.
But this is just on all kinds of levels stupid. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
this again is just as bad as the Uber for kids thing that they tried to come up with at one point. Where I get it, your kid needs a ride to school, but is letting them use their phone to hail strangers the best solution for this?
Yeah.
So this one is basically Facebook wanted to make a kids only Instagram because there were so many kids complaining they couldn't get on Instagram because it's 13 and up. So why not give predators a place to find all the children? I mean, why
It's
not give
not,
kids a
it's,
place to get online?
Yeah, it's more about kids being kids, I think. I hear the predator argument, I get it, but at the same time, it's like I think kids are pretty vicious with each other, and I think it's all about the chat and the comments and all that sort of stuff that revolve around that, and that has a huge effect on people's psyches, I think, and I
Hmm.
think children are very sensitive to that, and I don't think they're mature or old enough nearly at all to be involved in that sort of stuff. And so this is me
Yeah.
speaking as a parent. Now, obviously, this is me just personally. Obviously, some other people have no problem with it. And I respect that, but I think kids are. I think we take for granted how mature sometimes kids are. They're not. It takes a while. Their brains are still forming until they're 25. Their frontal lobes aren't
Yeah.
even done growing, right? So they're going to make poor decisions sometimes. They may post something that you don't think is appropriate, or they may say a comment or two. Um, it's tough. I don't think this is good. I think we need kids to stay kids. Let
Hmm.
them play outside. until they're old enough to understand. And the reality is technology is going to be around in their lives for the rest of their lives. You should try and delay that as long as possible.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of issues too with the machine learning and information tracking that's needed for that.
Sure.
Is like they had some, I don't remember if it was like a Barbie or some, like, I don't know, it was a kid's toy though, and it
Yeah.
was supposed to be like a smart doll, and it was like learning about your child, and then it ended up getting just crushed because all
Yeah,
the
I know. I look,
lawsuits around the
look,
data
I'm a kid of
tracking
the
it was
80s. I
doing.
remember Teddy Ruxpin. That even to me that was creepy.
That is what, like, have you seen the new Chucky movie? The like new
No,
one?
but I can imagine.
It's a must see. Okay,
Okay.
I'm not a fan of the '90s Chucky movies. I thought it was always lame and just ridiculous. They rebooted it and it is fantastic. It's really well done, and it's got Aubrey Plaza in it, who's just
Okay.
it's always fun to watch on screen. And they put the whole like AI spin on the entire thing, and
Yeah.
it's really
It
really
gets
like,
creepy.
yeah, it's kind of like in the Black Mirror realm of shows to watch, but it's a great watch if you haven't seen it yet. And it came out like
Yeah.
just like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. It's really good.
I mean, how many horror films, how many sci-fi genre, how many dark sci-fi movies do you have to put out until you understand that this stuff can get really close to, especially to a child, this can look almost identical, right? So, um, health, yeah. Um, we were warned. We knew what we were getting into. Why didn't we stop when we had the chance? It's like it's I don't know. I think that look, I'm gonna sound old school. Put your kids in sports, get them outside, let them play with sticks and stuff, bicycles, etc. Let them do those jumps over their friend. I'm a child where I would lie down on the road, like jump over me with your bike,
Oh my god.
you know, like uh, like the evil Knievel days. I think that stuff is okay, but again, I'm speaking just personally. I'm not advocating anything, but it's just I think it's these things are a bit they're weird to me. I think that Instagram for kids, come on, kids are vicious. I've seen them. I've been there. We've all been on the playground. Like the
Yeah.
second the second you come to school with a new haircut, you're getting trashed. Like,
Yeah.
oh look, you decided to get a haircut, and then everyone just picks on them. Like it's like Lord of the Flies, and now you're gonna virtualize that. I'm like, okay, let's see what
Facebook for
happens. So,
kids. It's just nothing good can come from this, right? That's the
mm.
bottom line. Visual Studios they ship
Yeah,
like
good
this is like
segue.
the
How are you gonna pull that
weekly.
one off?
Yeah, there's no chance,
Yeah.
no chance at all. You could use Visual Studio to write the next Instagram for
Okay.
kids.
All right. Fair enough.
So with the latest version, how would we go about writing this new Instagram for kids, John?
There's not a lot in here to be honest, but it's again just that classic sort of play by Microsoft, which this is great. More iterations, getting stuff out early, etc. This is the sort of classic play for the team here, which is release often and early. I love it, love it. I just more of this, please, more of this, and especially for dev tools. Like, there's no reason why you should sit back and wait with dev tools. So, all good stuff here. So yeah, just minor improvements mostly, but make sure you keep up to the latest. And you should be using Visual Studio Code though. You really should. It's a great, great, great tool.
And if you're using Visual Studio Code, you can always install the Code It Live theme, which will
Oh,
give you
jeez.
the
All right, here we
beautiful
go.
brand colors of Code It
Here
Live.
we go.
Now with light theme.
Yep.
Now with light theme. Sam's been tracking this. I've mentioned it a few times on the show, but he keeps updating this, so I'm going to mention it
Yeah.
again. Blogs.telerik.com, Sands of Maui. He's following the Maui conversation with like a
Cool.
newsletter style posting that he's popping probably about once a week here, where you can find links where community people have covered Maui and blog posts have been kind of like the show we're doing here, but all focused on Maui
Yep.
and in blog
Yep.
format. So make sure you check that out.
Nice.
It Blazer Hybrid in Maui is totally cool. I was playing with it last week on my stream, and there's a lot of promise there. And it's
Okay.
only preview 3, so we've got until November before this thing really matures. And I have to say it's pretty impressive for preview 3. So that's always
Yeah, the rubber will hit the road for me is if they can win, they being Microsoft, if they can win a major vendor to switch. Like if you got these app vendors, like if they got, I don't know anything about this, just pulling out examples. Like if they got, let's take Instagram, for example. We just talked about Instagram. Let's say Facebook decides to move their Instagram app from iOS, or rather Swift, I think it's written in Swift, to Maui. That would be really where the rubber hits the road, and it's like, okay, they've investigated this. This is where the real deal. I think this is where Microsoft really needs to invest. I'm just thinking strategic right now. And again, I have no insider knowledge of this, but if I was on the Maui team, this is the play I would do, which is basically go out to the app vendors and say, listen, please adopt Maui. Let us know what you think, et cetera, because that's really going to convince other developers to take the jump, I think. So if they can do that, and like if they ship Maui and there's nothing major, then it's going to be like, okay, there's going to be a little bit of speculation as is this good enough? But if they ship it and they get a lot of vendors on board, then that's when a lot of other developers can be like, okay, this seems like the real deal. Let's take a look.
Yeah, I think this puts them in direct competition with Flutter too, and
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing. There needs to be good
Yeah.
competition.
Yeah,
You'll
like
innovate the market, and that's always a good thing.
Yeah, yeah. So that's really where, for me as a developer, just thinking as a developer, that's what I'm looking for. So if there's anyone at Microsoft watching this, I doubt it, but like if there is someone at Microsoft on the Maui team watching, I'm like, that's what you should be doing. You should be going after those guys and seeing if they feel like it's the real deal too.
So Chris DeMars is in chat here with us, John, and you picked his favorite thing to talk about. Bootstrap
What's
5 is officially landing here.
I didn't choose it. It just dropped. Come on.
I'm not shooting the messenger. I'm just saying that you picked Chris's favorite
Yeah,
subject.
sure. Okay. All right.
So what?
Yeah,
what
we've
is
all been
Bootstrap
we've
5
all been
got?
in Bootstrap land, so we all know our container elements and using our various layout classes, etc. And Bootstrap is it's fine. It's fine. So it's fine.
Did
It's just like me trying to convince myself it's fine. It's fine. Everything's good.
did they finally drop jQuery in this version? Is that not a thing
I
now?
thought that was done in V4.
No, no, not at all.
Okay,
Let's see what it
like a
says here.
subset of V4, but anyways, yeah, no
There
more
we go.
jQuery.
No
Okay,
more
V5. There you go.
jQuery. There
There you
we
go.
go. Poor jQuery gets a bad name, but it is kind of old hat at this point.
Yeah, but it served a good purpose. Come on, let's give credit where credit's due. jQuery was there to it was the tradesperson putting spackle over the cracks of the wall, basically, to try and bridge the gap, if you will.
I'm
jQuery
gonna
did have a good
say
role.
that Bootstrap is still decent for wireframes, but
Hmm.
it's really unnecessary these days. Like it's really just a lot of cruft for something that you get out of the box from the browser. You get, the CSS Grid and Flexbox can tackle most of this stuff. And then I really don't see people writing their own UI components, and these don't go far enough to do what UI needs to do. You need to reach for something a little bit stronger. They're
Eh,
good for slapping something down if you've got a demo to do or you're trying to get a proof of concept out. But once that
okay.
proof of concept is done, just too much, my
Hmm.
friend. Too much.
All right. Fair enough. Hey, fair enough. That's what I'm going to say. Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Alrighty. What is this is just a GitHub repo for something called Fusion.
Okay, so
Tell us a little
stay
bit,
here,
John.
stay here for a second. All right, so was actually one of my favorite tools. Not favorite, like I'm saying that facetiously, but back in the day when you're trying to do resolution of types to assemblies, you'd use this tool called Fuselog. Fusion is the old code name for the .NET runtime, I believe, and this would give you an event log listing of
Hmm.
when your application would run or build. There would be a binding uh, for those assemblies, and when they were loaded into the basically the CLR apps, the app space of the CLR, basically that was running your application. And so this tool sucks. It's sorry. This tool design. Sorry, the design. I should clarify. I speak before I think. Sorry.
The
The
UI
design of
sucks.
this app is very Battleship, right? So now this is a project that is introducing Fusion plus plus. So this is a modern take on that tool, basically. So I thought it was kind of cool that someone would
Yeah.
kind of modernize it a little bit.
It's been a long time since I've seen one of these UIs.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
like old school WinForms. Um, I don't even remember what this was
It
called.
is WinForms, basically. Yeah.
Is that just like a WinForms grid? I can't remember what that was called.
Yeah,
I've built these
yeah, it's
before.
like
It's just
yeah, I think it's like a grid or table view or something like that. So
then you get the
yeah,
little, you know, default
radio
buttons
buttons, perfect, hot. That is hot.
and I've built these things before.
Oh, sure, we
You
all have.
you
Yep,
drag them and drop them. They're pixel perfect.
yep, yep.
They look
No
like
worries.
trash, but they work like a
Well,
charm.
they they look like what is it? Barbecue? No, this looks like microwave steak to me. This is about appealing as a microwave steak.
So I'll tell you another old man story real quick. So I went to a class that was being given by work to learn how to do ASP.NET development, and
Okay,
I was the only one that came out of that class with any kind of knowledge, and I was like, "This is cool." So I wrote some apps for work. That's where I got my start, and my boss was impressed, and I told him I wanted to take some classes at the community college. And he's like, "Cool, I think I'll do that too." So he jumps in and he joins me and taking this class on computer programming, and we learned some VB 6, I think it was. And I'm building an app that looks very similar to this, right? And he calls me over to his desk because he wants to dabble with this stuff too. And he's got a dashboard like this, and there's a button that says "Show Inventory." I kid you not, like this is a true story. And he's like, I got this app I'm building, and when you click on Show Inventory, it doesn't do anything. He's like, I don't understand why it's not working, and you show me what to do. So I was like, okay. So I put it in edit mode and I double click on the button, as you do in Visual Basic
sure.
Studio,
Takes
or
you to
whatever
the
it was
event
called.
binding.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
takes
yeah,
you to the event binding, not a line of code behind it.
perfect.
So
It's doing exactly what you said. It's doing nothing.
he's like, you have to do stuff here. I was like, yeah, you have to actually like
Yeah,
write
yeah.
the machine code to tell the app how to work.
Shouldn't
You don't
shouldn't the
just like
computer
put
know
the
what to do?
button. You don't just put the button on the form and give it a name, and
Sure.
it just knows magically what to do. And
Yes.
like it just like blew his mind. He's like, "It's a
Yeah.
lot harder than I thought it was going to be." It was like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
what happens when you just got to talk to the guy? Like, have you seen the movie AI by Spielberg? Yeah, what happens when computers guess? They take a really long time and they come back with the wrong answer. So in
yeah.
this case, the computer did exactly what you told it to, which is do nothing.
I just thought that was
You might as
hilarious
well
that
put
he
a no
thought,
op in there.
yeah, he
So
thought just like putting a button, putting the name on it, it's gonna know it's gonna know where to find an inventory of all things. Like
yes,
what inventory,
it's
like
like yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Unfortunately,
I
I've
mean,
written code like that before. I just look at it, I'm like, you have that talk with yourself in the mirror afterwards. Like, why are you in this industry? You suck.
yeah. I've had them where I'm like, I don't know why when I click the button, it doesn't do the thing. The code's there, and then you like find out there's no event binding like on the button, and you're
Sure.
like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
course,
Yeah, we've
it's
all
got
been
to
there.
know. And no, no, Chris, I was in Florida at the time. If that tells you anything, Florida. Yeah. All right. Sorry, any Florida people watching, but hey,
I think this whole
Just
show is
honesty
just
here.
about us saying stupid things and making mistakes, and I'm sure you and I will have to apologize soon. So, yeah,
Yeah. Hey, I chose to leave. That's all I can say. Postman, I love you, but I met Thunder Client for Visual Studio Code. This is one
yeah,
interesting headline, John.
yeah. I know. So Postman is a great tool. If you're doing anything with APIs, you really should. You owe it to yourself to check out Postman. Postman is the classic sort of. It's like the Visual Studio Code of API debugging and authoring and all that sort of stuff. Postman's been around for a while. If you're using Postman, use it with Fiddler. You're cooking with gas basically. It's a tool for doing a lot of great things. Now, Thunder Client is an extension for Visual Studio Code that runs inside of Visual Studio Code and gives you more or less a Postman-like development experience within Visual Studio Code. I
Hmm.
have not used Thunder Client yet, but I saw this post and I thought I've used Postman a ton. I love Postman, but I thought, all right, cool, nice. I like it. I like extensions that bring to the surface good ideas. Like Postman is a wonderful idea. Like it's like, hey, people are writing APIs. Maybe we should provide a tool to help, generate code and documentation and testing and mocking and things like that. That's what Postman basically is. Um, but yeah, Thunder Client would be definitely a good alternative, I think.
Like when I
That's me
heard
speaking
Thunder
with no
Client,
experience installing this thing.
like I pictured like the DC Universe version of Thor. Like I just
I,
Thunder
I think
Client.
of
I couldn't.
Thundercats. Again, this is me being the 80s kid. Thundercats,
Yeah.
but there you go. So,
I wasn't a big fan. My sister loved that show. I wasn't a big fan of it,
all
but
right.
I know a lot of people were. Like that was. I was more on the sci-fi like side. That was more on the fantasy realm of things. So I
Yeah.
like the Macross stuff and Voltron and all that nerdy
Look, I was a kid. I'd been
goodness.
in school all day. All I wanted to do was come home and watch cartoons. So
Yeah,
Thundercats was available. Inspector Gadget, GI Joe. Those are my shows.
there you go.
As
They
long
were
as it's animated, I'm
they were
interested.
they
Gem,
were
I
so
don't care.
terrible though. They were like be honest, they were terrible, but they were the only thing us
Uh,
kids had. There was no
yeah, Teenage
like
Mutant Ninja Turtles. I mean,
that
we're
was
doing a
the
retro
bar.
here, but yeah, yeah. So I
If
think anything that had bright colors was fascinating enough to me, especially when I live, you're living in a small town, Canada. You'll do anything to see color, especially in the winter. So anything that was bright and shiny on the TV, I would watch. So
was it translated in Canada? Was it like Thundercats, eh?
yeah,
Like
hilarious,
when
hilarious.
they like attack the enemies, were they like sorry, sorry,
Sorry, sorry.
sorry?
Yes, I know, hilarious. Americans,
My
you're an interesting bunch to me. You guys say these jokes and then you laugh when you're saying them as if we're finding them funny. And most Canadians, you may
yeah.
notice, you should watch when you say that joke to see if the Canadian is laughing or they're just smiling and being polite. We don't find these jokes funny because everyone uses the same. It would be like, "Hey, knock knock," and if everyone came up to you like, "Who's there?" It's the same joke over and over. America, America, listen, we get it. We say sorry a lot and we play hockey and we're not riding around mooses all the time, but we get it. We're strange people. All right, get used to
Yeah.
it.
I'll tell you what I told my wife when she doesn't approve of my humor. It's funny to me, and that's all that matters.
Yes, that's all that matters. Perfect.
All right. Last thing before I offend anyone else. What is this
You're not offending anyone.
mysterieswizardness.com? What is
Yeah.
this?
So this is the case of the mysterious 50 millisecond request. This is like a choose your own adventure type thing where you can basically you're playing the role of a developer trying to figure out a problem, and so they offer this sort of choose your own adventure type puzzle, and it's basically the basic problem is you're trying to upload a file to a server and it's taking 50 milliseconds, taking a really long time,
Hmm.
and so it's offering you a way of kind of figuring out how to debug this thing. So it's a clever, practical approach to teaching how to figure out problems associated with transports and debugging and
Yeah, that's pretty
protocols,
cool.
etc. Yeah,
I
that was
like
clever.
uh, I like fun learning tools. What does it do if I hit back to
Yes,
puzzles? So there's
yes. So
more.
there's a few of
Oh,
them
the
that you
case
can
of
take
slow
take a look
website.
at.
I like CSS has a bunch of these fun ones. It's like CSS frogs or something like that. There's
Yeah,
one that teaches
yeah,
you like grid layout and Flexbox frogs, I think is it?
yeah.
Flexbox froggy. This one.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
have
yeah.
to like type the code and
This is
it
like
moves the
logo, but
frog.
with CSS.
Yeah. Yeah, so you say like justify content to flex end
No
and
IntelliSense,
it'll
perfect. You gotta
yeah,
fly with your. Yeah, there you go,
yeah.
perfect.
And then once you
They should
complete the
they should
task,
turn this into Frogger. Where you have to like use these manipulations to get the frog above to the
mhm,
top of the screen. That'd be kind of cool. I guess
yeah.
it's the
So this
same premise.
yeah, this is a good one. There's a CSS grid one too that I can't remember
Hmm.
the name of for the
Yeah,
characters
yeah, yeah.
for it, but this is a really popular one. There's also teamtreehouse.com. Treehouse has a lot of good um,
Yeah,
what do you call it? It's like a learning management thing. It's kind
yep,
of like Pluralsight, but I think it's a little more for new people breaking into the industry.
okay,
It brings it down to that level a little bit better, I think, than Pluralsight does. So if I
yeah,
were like already in the industry and I want to like sharpen my skills and like learn something new, Pluralsight might be the way to go. If I'm
yeah,
new to the industry as a whole, like Team Treehouse is like really, really good at like onboarding
yeah.
you and like getting you comfortable with the tools. And they have a lot of tutorials and videos that remind me of this. At least they used to. It's been a long time since I've been on there, but they have really good content like this. So
Yeah, yeah. Again, I'm doing a lot of retro stuff, but remembering back when it was like what it was like for us back in the, I guess, early '90s. You'd have forums basically, and then if you posted a silly question, people would just reply RTFM, and you're like, okay, thanks, and then so it was kind of hard. So these tools are great. I think more of them, please, and I think it's a wonderful fact that people can get in this stuff and get involved and start learning, which is what we want. We don't want we don't want less people in the industry. We want more people in the industry because that's going to make us
yeah,
better as an industry.
yeah. If
It's
you're
not. It's not
new,
like we have.
like
It's not like we have like these mountains of developers to pick from. Developers are hard to find, so we
yeah,
need more of them. So more developers, please.
yeah. This was a really good program. I thought they did a lot of stuff with the public works folks here in Louisville, and their courseware was really good and it was accessible. So I don't know how
Two
this
hundred
is
bucks a
throughout the
month.
rest. No, this is
Oh,
for this is for a full program that's 3 to 9 months. It looks like this is not the
okay.
normal. This is for a something that they've put like I guess a degree behind. It's $25 a month, which if you think of
Oh,
like
okay.
like
That's good.
Netflix is pretty close to that, right? But you're
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
actually
yeah. No, that's
learning a
really
skill
good.
that's going to earn you way more money than binge watching TV and losing money. So, you know, it is what it is. I try to
Yeah,
get
I look.
people interested in this.
Yeah, look. If you know someone or you are someone who's looking to get into this industry, I say this all the time. There's never been a better time. There has never been a better time, and it's never been easier, I think. And I've always advocated for as many people as possible to come into this industry. We need more
Hmm.
software developers, not
Agreed.
less. And yeah, we have lots of problems to solve, lots and lots and lots and lots of problems to solve, and we need more developers to solve them. So
Yeah, in the closest city I live to, this is actually free. So if you go to the public
awesome.
library, you go to
That's
your
great.
library and you get your library card, you can go to a web
Yep,
portal and sign in, and it will like link you to a free
perfect.
account to this. So I mean, you can't get any better than that. Like free
No,
learning to get you a career that can result, in at least a high salary, if not a six-figure one, eventually.
yeah,
Um, can't do any better than that. I mean, it beats
no, 100% agree. No,
paying for
100% agree.
years of college that you're going to be in debt to for an eternity.
Well, yeah, I mean there are ancillary benefits to going to college, like first time living alone, first time, meeting people your same age outside of high school. Like high school is like vicious, I found.
Hmm.
It was like again, Lord of the Flies. It's like survival of the fittest basically. But when you get to university, it's like okay, everyone's taking studies a little bit more seriously, and people seem a little bit more mature, and you can connect with those folks. And then there's extracurricular activities like sports and stuff that you can get involved with. And then there's college life, etc. So you are paying for all that, but yeah,
Yeah.
it is expensive.
Right on, man. And it's a good time with the what do you call it? Economy where it's at, and like some people are trying to get back into work and stuff to get on
Yep.
these workshops and stuff and learn a new skill and break into a
Yeah.
different industry. It's a good career
And
change time for some people.
yes. Oh, absolutely. And just remember, if you're doing a one of these courses and it's related to networking, it's always DNS. Always. DNS is always the problem.
Yep,
If it's not DNS, then it's DNS.
I will agree. It's been a good show, John. It was nice talking to you
Cheers.
again, and we've got stuff all week long on Code It Live, so stick around all week. We've got TJ teaching React on Wednesday. I'll be here doing some Blazor on Wednesday. Sam's got a talk show this week, and he's got a Xamarin show. I think it's
Cool.
either tomorrow or Thursday. He's been doing some of the Blazor hybrid stuff, so just stick around, hit follow. You'll get alerts for all that stuff. There's a schedule too, so check that
It's
out.
not going to hurt. Like how it's so trivial. Just follow. Just do it.
Just
Click the
just
box.
turn it on and listen to us in the background, like make fun of
Yeah.
stuff like
Instagram for kids and what else? Teaching tools
space mushrooms and
Teddy Ruxpin. What more could you want?
we're like that old SNL skit where Chris Farley's the house sitter and
Oh, the Hurley boy.
the Hurley boy. He's already
Yeah.
in your house. Can you
Yeah.
just
Just
let him sleep in
just
your
let him
bed? Can he sleep in
babysit.
your bed?
Yeah.
He's a clean boy.
Yeah.
That's us. Just let it. Just let us stream to your ears.
We make a convincing argument. I don't know. Clicking follow button. Just do it.
So
There you
click
go.
the follow button. We're already in your home.
Yeah, that's right.
Just listen to us all the time.
Perfect.
That's a good way to end the show, John.
Yeah, a lot of
that's all we got.
references.
That's all we got, folks. We're just 80s and 90s. And then we stop maturing. That's all we have.
No, it's not going to stop.
Take care,
Cool.
everybody. Bye bye.
See ya.